Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of July 14th, 2016. I am Joe Fedua.
I am Ash Ketchum. Chris Chavez.
Chris, you're going to get this video removed.
I'm Ashley King.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we are going to talk about Pokemon Go at the top of the show, but
in great length. This is the Pokemon Edition podcast, right?
We're not going to talk about it in great length because I know people are starting to get tired of it. And
it's so fun, though.
It is so fun. We were talking like for 15 minutes before we recorded about Pokemon Go, just among the three of us. So, but I do want to talk about it.
More people are more interested in Pokemon Go than those that aren't.
Right,
I feel like everyone's using it.
Yeah, so I feel like we should talk about it, but not. I don't want to like talk about our personal like, oh, I'm level such and such. I've got this.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting thing to talk about is how nothing like this, a game this popular, has ever really happened before, and it's kind of insane.
I have to say, like, in my little community, in my little area of people, I'm usually the only person who knows about a game, and so I see all these people running around talking about Pokemon, and they know what they're talking about, and I'm like, wow, this game did that?
Yeah, that is really the insane thing.
It's gotten everyone out of the house. When does that ever happen? I mean, because there's been app crazes. We had games, everyone going crazy over the Flappy Bird thing, and like, I don't know, just things like that. Like the Vine, when Vine first came out, that was like super popular.
Well, I just wrote an article on Fandroid today. Pokemon Go is the most popular game in the U.S. now because it just passed Candy Crush Saga. So
I never understood why that game was the most popular. It's just a match 3 game. It's not that fun.
Pokemon Go has 21 million active users, daily users in the U.S., and Candy Crush Saga has 20. But like Chris is saying, it's so different for this game because, like, okay, Candy Crush Saga, there's a lot of people playing it, but they're all like on their couch or on their toilet playing it, and you don't really see other people doing it. This game, it seems like so many more people are playing just because everyone's out walking around in public.
I saw this picture from Sydney, Australia with like 300 people playing Pokemon Go outside this apartment building, and the people that lived there were really angry and like throwing eggs at them and water balloons and everything else, trying to get them to go away.
They're like, yes, give us more eggs. We need those.
The stories surrounding it, I think, are the funnest part. I mean, the game is great or whatever, but like these weird stories that everyone's coming out with is just... It's the best part.
Well, today I finally seen the headline I have been waiting to read forever. Two men fall down cliff while playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I saw a story the other day of a lady that fell in the Grand Canyon and died, and I hate to say it, but I was like, I hope she wasn't playing Pokemon Go. She wasn't. But...
Okay, good.
Well, it's true because, I mean, I have been waiting. That's another one I've been waiting to hear is like the first person who gets killed playing this game.
I'm not even really concerned about all these other ones. I'm still just waiting for a death. I'm like, oh, did they die?
There's a bunch of accidents, and a Pokemon Go player found a body in Wyoming, but I don't think there's been any deaths yet.
That's actually super telling too, and I think this is probably the coolest part about Pokemon Go is everyone's getting exercise and losing weight and doing all this cool stuff, whatever, and socializing with people in real life, but to me, the coolest thing is people being out of the house, and now you're seeing dead bodies in places, or you're catching criminals doing bad things. These times of night when like normally everyone's inside their house, and just like our whole society and everything and culture is just all centered around the internet. Everyone's always home.
Or you're a criminal like waiting to catch Pokemon Go players so you can rob them.
Yeah, or that too. Yeah, and those guys.
Luring in people with lure modules to like mug people.
I just think
there have been stories on like both sides of the spectrum, like horrible things and then awesome things.
Some dude these guys witnessed a murder and then they caught the dude, and it's like just weird stuff like that happens. It's because everyone's out now. Everyone's walking around these parks. Everyone's walking around neighborhoods, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
It is, and even if this craze dies down in like a week, there are going to be lasting impact from this game. People have made friends. People have, joined groups. I guarantee you there's going to be a story like later this year, next year, couple that met on Pokemon Go gets married.
I met
Like
my wife.
I would
Pokemon
not
Go.
doubt it because that was huge when World of
yeah,
Warcraft first came out. All these people were meeting
lock it up.
and everything.
It'll happen, guaranteed.
It's so true.
So yeah, I mean, I was out on a walk the other day playing, and like it was when the servers were down, and it's like you see a group of people. It's like, oh, I bet they're playing Pokemon Go, and walk by, and like all I hear is, oh, the servers. It's like, oh, yep, they're playing.
It's funny because all the gyms in my town are basically churches, and if you go to these gyms not on a Sunday, you'll see all these people parked in their cars at the church, and you're like, yeah, they're playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, that's the funniest part. Is like all the landmarks and stuff are from Ingress, and then for whatever reason, a lot of them just happen to be churches and stuff. And
Yeah.
we were at like a yogurt shop the other day, and these guys from a church were talking about it. They're like, yeah, there's all these people are playing some weird Pokemon game. I don't get it. They're all like in front of our church. And
My theory is that its churches have parking lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. But now they're going to start what? Doing sponsored Pokestops?
Yeah, there's rumors that McDonald's is going to be the first sponsored Pokestop.
That would be fine. I mean, this is a great idea
Mhm.
for McDonald's and for people that play, because more
Businesses.
Pokestops are better for players.
I mean, a lot of people they're glued to their phone and stuff, but like, I mean, eventually you'll run out of Pokeballs, or you're gonna need to take a break, and it's like, oh, I can grab like a
Here's my question,
McCafe
though.
item.
If you're trying to decide to go to a restaurant for a night, would you look and see if it was a Pokestop or not?
If it's got a Pokestop there, yes. Like me and my brother, there's a Pokestop right outside Panda Express, and we had all these options to go to, and I was like, hey, why don't we just go to Panda Express? And then I was sitting in there the whole time we were eating, and we were just taking our sweet time, and I'm just reaping all the little spins from the Pokestop, which like refresh every 5 minutes. So like I was in no rush to leave at all. It's funny.
Have either of you actually like ran out of stuff? Because I did run out of Pokeballs once.
Not yet.
I've gotten kind of close, but no. Like once you level up, and then it gives you like a big old chunk of Pokeballs and stuff. So I've just been doing that, but mainly to hit at Pokestops. I'm just really sad and depressed that I work from home, and in my home there's no Pokestops nearby. I would actually have to physically get off my butt to go there. So.
That's what I did yesterday. Yesterday I made like 4 trips to the 3 Pokestops that are within walking distance of me, and I have this little route that I take.
I mean, I'm sure that's probably the case for most people, though. I mean, most people aren't going to live in a Pokestop or...
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some in our neighborhood, but they're just, farther down the street, and it's like, gosh, I'm like, these guys are so freaking lucky, because they have some weird statue in front of their apartment building, and I'm like, it just happens to be, an Ingress, whatever, portal or whatever, but I'm just thinking all the time, like, those guys are so lucky, man. These guys are probably just swimming in Pokeballs.
Just sitting at their desk, swiping on the Pokestop every 10 minutes.
So lucky. Man.
So, yeah, I don't want to keep talking about it too long, but just, kind of amazed.
Pokemon fever. It's sweeping the nation.
Yeah. It really is. And if you're sick of hearing about it, I don't blame you, but you have to understand that this is like kind of an unprecedented thing.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
There's a Chrome extension called Pokegon if you want to get rid of Pokemon news from all of your feeds. It'll hide any Pokemon Go related news.
I mean, it's already started to die down in like the media and stuff. So
slightly.
I mean, by next week, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not seeing it in every other tweet in your news feed and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the opening week, and I mean, even last week, we didn't really, honestly, I didn't expect it to be like this much of a craze. I was kind of like, I don't even know if I'll really even play. Maybe I'll dabble a little bit. Yeah, I was not even too excited, and then once I got into it, it just became like crack.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not even a Pokemon fan, so I certainly was not expecting to be as addicted to it as I am. But yeah, it's just a fun game that anyone can play. And I feel like because it's public, it's almost like the best marketing for the game, because say you're not playing, you go out to do something, you see all these people, like what are all these people doing?
I mean, the craziest
makes
thing
you
is
curious.
It's how broken the game is too, and it's like that shows you how good the game is, because it's so broken, but yet people can't stop playing. Everyone's complaining about, oh, my screen froze, oh, the thing's not working.
I have had several frustrating moments where I was catching a Pokemon that I've never caught before, and when I catch it, it gets in the ball. It doesn't give you the 3 little pulses
Yes.
Like, oh no, it froze up, and you have to
That's
close the app, and when you open it
just
back
part of
up,
the
the
excitement.
Pokemon's gone.
That's the excitement, the
Just think how
suspense
many
is you're
more
like, I hope it
users
doesn't
there
break.
would be if they didn't have server issues. I mean, I'm sure there are people who have quit because of it who weren't super into it, but
Possibly.
Niantic, they can't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Niantic knows what they're doing too, as far as the whole not having like any kind of in-game tutorial. Like people are just blindly. I mean, you just have to kind of figure it out as you go, and there's so many rules and
I kind
secrets
of
and tips.
like in my I've done if anyone is interested who hasn't played, I did a how to play Pokemon Go and a tips and trips. Blah. I need to crowdsource someone to say this for me. Tips and tricks. And one of the things that I mentioned is there is a lot to discover on your own, but I think that's kind of one of the fun things about it is because it's like real life. Everything isn't just laid out in plain detail for
Yes.
you. You have to go out and explore and figure it out.
It reminds me of the old days, like when you would play like the NES titles or Super Nintendo. Like there was no tutorials. You just picked up the controller and tried to figure out what the heck you're doing on your own. And it's
Yeah,
like
there's definitely a lot of mystery around the game.
yeah, it's great, and it's done so well because everyone's writing guides and everyone's writing tips, and people are making up a lot of stuff, which is ridiculous. But there's so much misinformation out there
Yeah.
and like phony tips. It's ridiculous.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about Pokemon Go in our wins and fails. But for now, that's going to wrap things up. We'll get into some more of the actual phone mobile type news, even though Pokemon Go is mobile.
Definitely very mobile.
Definitely
I
mobile.
wonder if Square Enix was upset with them using the Go subtitle because they have those Hitman Go, Lara
Oh,
Croft
yeah.
Go.
Oh, and their capital goes too on those, right?
Mhm.
Well, they
Yep.
should have trademarked the word "go."
like Candy Crush Saga. Well, Candy Crush was trying to trademark Saga, and they got all
Yeah.
pissed off.
It's like screw you guys. All right, so this week we got some more leaked information about Google's first in-house smartwatches.
Color me interested.
Yes. Indeed, we got a leaked. It's like it's not really a leak. It's a handmade render. It's sort of like last week when we were talking about the HTC Nexus, where it was like a handmade thing based on information. This is sort of the same thing. So it's two watches that someone rendered based on information, and they look really, really nice.
They look very cool. I really like. They're both round, which is interesting. They're kind of ditching the whole square-faced ones, but
No flat tire.
I was going to say the first question out of anyone's mouth is going to be, does
no
it have a flat tire?
in the article, the original article, Andrew Place was talking about how they might be a thick black bezel, not thick, but a black bezel that's circular instead of just a flat tire. So instead, it would just be around it, which I don't really think I mind too much. But the watches look cool. There's a fat, big, sporty-looking one, which I'm not really.
It looks like
fan of.
the LG Watch Urbane, one of those.
Yes. If you
Didn't
guys
really
have
care
seen the
for that
LG
one.
Watch Urbane, nice and chunky.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that one's going to be like, I guess, their flagship or whatever. It's going to have all the features and all the things, and it's going to be it's supposed to be a standalone as well, so you won't need your smartwatch or smartphone with that one. And then there's going to be the dainty, smaller one, which I actually kind of like. I hope it's not too girly, but it's definitely more kind of feminine. The watch strap.
It looks like the Moto 360, I would say.
I would say more like a Pebble Time. Actually, looks a lot like a Pebble Time. But also looks really, really nice as well. But yeah, won't be standalone, so you're gonna need your smartphone with that one to connect. But they look good so far. Very nice.
I'd say I'm interested, even though I seem to be fully on board with Pebble, but
Yes, and that's this is what I hate every year with the Pebble. Is I always kickstart the damn thing, and then right before it even comes out, there's like new stuff already coming out that I'm interested in. So it's like I hope I don't end up regretting my Pebble Time.
I mean, that's the story with anything in technology.
Yeah, well, most stuff. I mean, usually it's like, hey, this is out, you can buy it next week or whatever. But when you kickstart stuff, it's like it's gonna be available in 6 months or. It's like, geez, that's a
I've
life.
kickstarted games that I forgot I kickstarted. It took so long to make them.
Yeah, I'm done with kickstarting games. Never after Mighty Number 9, it's like just don't even worry about it.
Yeah, literally. So I kickstart like a magazine every year, and it's on Kickstarter just to be easy to fund. It always funds. The only thing that I have not kickstarted that was like an actual. The only thing I've kickstarted that was an actual physical product, of course, never became a thing. So
The only
that's
thing that I've kickstarted that was a physical product was hot sauce, and it was pretty good.
hot sauce.
Yes, hot sauce. It was good.
What was
I
so
forget
special
there's
about
other
it? Why was it on
It's like
Kickstarter?
a curry hot sauce.
Why was it on
Okay.
Kickstarter?
Okay.
The dude was like, "Look, I'm
You
on
had a good
Kickstarter
pitch.
with my hot sauce recipe," and he posted on Reddit and sent out like 500 samples, and I got one of the samples, and I was like, "This is really good. I would buy this." So
That's so funny.
the only reason I kickstarted is because I tasted it beforehand.
I would never have thought of like to kickstart food.
Yeah, I forgot there are other things out there than just like tech startups and whatever. There's guys trying to sell their barbecue sauces and
I'm gonna invent like a new type of hamburger or something.
some sauce.
Sauce. All right, moving on. So LG is working on a successor to the V10, and as someone who
Surprise.
did not particularly enjoy his time with the V10, I don't really care about this at all.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean,
a
the only
gimmick
thing
phone.
that was I liked the way the V10 looked, and when I actually held it in my hand and stuff, I thought it was really really nice. And even you said the ticker thing was pretty useful. It was
It
nice.
was only useful for multitasking.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense that they would do a successor, and I think it might be cool if they can actually get it to stretch across the whole top or the whole bottom. Maybe they'll move it to the bottom this time around, and just improve the processor. The whole Snapdragon 808 thing that was in that one just really turned me off. I will not touch a phone with a Snapdragon 808. But yeah, so this time around, let's hope it's like 820, 821. Then
I hope they slim it down. I mean, that was the thing that I thought it was like. There's always a joke like everyone in phone reviews says feels great in the hand.
yes,
That's the one phone where I was like, this doesn't feel great in the hand.
actually
It's
does
It
not.
was too tall, wasn't it?
heavy,
I mean,
thick.
I never held one, but it looked tall.
It was
It was
just kind of rugged.
huge.
Yeah, it was big. It was a big phone.
Yeah, and heavy.
Oh, was
It's
it
just
heavy?
it's just a brick.
Which is really weird for an LG device. Usually they're like super duper light.
Yeah.
When someone says a phone is heavy, it reminds me of those Nokia Windows phones that actually were heavy.
Yeah, where you would drop it and you'd fear for the floor more than the phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the V10 or V20 or whatever, I don't think it's going to have modules though. Nobody's talked about any of the module stuff, so that's kind of.
I bet
You
it
know
doesn't
what?
either.
LG's never gonna mention modules ever again.
That's what I said like earlier this year. I was like, this is the thing this year. Next year it'll be something new. Modules are out.
I mean, committed to it. Like the LG CEO or one of their big executive guys, it's like, no, we're committed to modularity, and we're going to keep it
They're
rolling.
so
in the
committed
next
that
years.
they made a grand total of 2 modules. Guys, we're
Yeah.
committed.
It's awful. And it could have been cool. I mean, they could have had a module for like a little second screen module.
Maybe
Oh,
maybe
you're
the
right.
ticker will be a module. That's what I
Right.
was gonna say. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's still possible, but I don't think they're that invested in it, especially after that. Yeah, like Joe was saying, they really haven't made any modules now, and what the LG's mobile division is like tanking. It's doing really, really, really bad this year. But I feel like the only one that's ever doing good is just Samsung. So.
All right, so moving on, Galaxy Note 7. We've been talking a lot about that, and now we have a official event announced for August 2nd, and that is when we will finally see the Note 7.
Galaxy Note 7 Edge incoming.
Yeah, we've seen a few more leaked like photos and images of it and stuff, and edge screen is definitely a go.
I feel like it looks less edge screened-ish. Like, I don't know if that makes
Maybe
any
they like
sense.
toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it is toned down just slightly, so it just looks more like a 3D screen instead of like a real edge. I wonder if they're going to even really pack too many edge features in it or whatever. I mean, not that there was edge features were all kind of stupid to begin with, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks cool. I'm kind of excited about the Net 7. I'm just hoping that it has like an Exynos processor because I don't like the way the performance of the S7 and S7 Edge with the Snapdragon 820. They just, I don't know, they're not really doing it for me as
Yeah.
far as performance goes. But the Exynoses are always doing really well, and I guess the Exynos versions of the S7 Edge and all those, everyone says the battery life is way more better than the Snapdragon version and
Way more better.
way more faster and way more everything. So yeah, hoping it's an Exynos.
All right. So Facebook. I complain a lot about the Facebook app.
Yes,
I think everybody does.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody does. But
I
so
use
this
it,
week
yeah.
you do use it?
Yeah, I use it all the time. I don't really like getting rid of the app. I just keep it on there.
Okay. Well, I don't use it
I don't use it
because
either.
battery is one of the things that I never liked about it. But this week, The Verge, I guess, got like a look inside of Facebook's secret lab, and apparently they do quite a bit of testing on Android devices to try to make battery life not so bad. They have like a rack of 64 different devices that they're testing the app on. So my question is, if they're doing so much testing, why does the app still suck?
That's the funny part.
Yeah,
Is
that's what I was gonna say.
you would think they would just have like 3 iPhones and it's just like 4 guys just working on their app on like a couple of iPhones, maybe like one Android or something.
Oh yeah, isn't that Android operating system pretty popular? Shouldn't we have an app for that?
Tons and tons of these devices that they're testing their app on. Tons of them, and they're hooked up to these crazy servers that are like analyzing all this data, making sure like performance is good, the battery life doesn't take a hit, all this craziness. But yet the app still kind of
It's just there for looks. They just have it sitting there. All these like charts moving around, and people walk by. It's like, wow, you guys are really testing these phones. Oh yeah, we are.
I wonder if it bothers them that so many people prefer to use those wrapper apps that just wrap the web Facebook into an app.
They probably don't care because at
I
the
mean,
end of
they're
the
still
day,
using the platform, yeah.
right.
But I mean, I guess they don't get all that data that they siphon from the actual app and all that. But
They siphon plenty of data from the website.
yeah, but it's funny. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I think that was the most interesting part. It's like, oh, they actually have a weird top secret testing facility where they're testing their app against all these hundreds and thousands of devices. It's nuts. It's crazy.
So speaking of surprising things, the Galaxy S7 is apparently outselling the iPhone 6s in the U.S.
That is crazy.
That is very crazy.
That's a very big statement.
I mean, we are towards the end of the iPhone life cycle.
I was going to say, when's the next one coming?
So, I mean, that usually happens, I feel like, when every time like the next iPhone's about to come out soon, then everyone just stops buying the current one. Because it's always a given. Everyone knows exactly, what's going to come up next and all this stuff. So it's like, don't buy the new one yet. Hold off. But the fact that the Galaxy S7 is still going strong is kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big.
I don't think it's weird at all. Like, Samsung is so big to this point. Like, I live in a rural community where a lot of people don't know anything about phones.
Yeah.
And you ask them what phone they have, they say, oh, a Galaxy.
I mean, this will anger the Samsung Knights, but Samsung phones are basically like the dumb phone of smartphones for people. I don't mean that they're not good as phones. I just mean like when you're someone that doesn't know a lot about smartphones and you go into a store, 9 times out of 10 you walk out with a Samsung phone.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they have the money to push them. They have the money to put like the displays in stores. They have the money to offer incentives for like the employees that work in these carrier stores to like push those, and I mean they're just dominating. And it's just weird though, because you would think the S6, because S6 and S6 Edge and all those didn't really sell well at all, and there was all these reports that their sales were shrinking and all this stuff, which was really odd because the phone is almost the exact same as the S7, and the S7 comes out and all of a sudden it's this huge hit and everybody wants it and loves it, and it's just.
It's all about that new black color. People who are sick of the blue.
I think it's single-handedly just the black. Nobody wanted navy.
I mean, it is a really nice looking phone. I won't lie.
Shiny, feels solid. It's really solid, so feels good in the hand.
It's not a review if you don't say it doesn't feel good in the hand.
Feels really good in the hand.
All right, so our last little bit of news, Motorola Moto E3 is the latest affordable phone from Moto/Lenovo. 5-inch HD display, quad-core processor, 8-megapixel camera, 2,800 milliamp hour battery, 99 pounds in the UK is the price right now. So nice little cheap phone from Lenovo. Nothing
Burner phone. It's a nice Pokemon phone.
Actually, that's so funny that you mentioned that. So I was in the Windows Phone subreddit because I still like to look in there every once in a while, and there were a lot of people talking about Pokemon Go, and obviously there's not a Windows Phone app, and there were people like talking about what cheap Android phone to get to play Pokemon Go, and like what ones meet the requirements, because there are like a few requirements, because you need like a gyroscope to do the AR stuff. You need at least 2 gigabytes of RAM. There are a couple other requirements that you need to play the game, and people are like, yeah, what's a cheap Android phone that I can get just to play Pokemon Go? I thought that was so funny.
It's crazy.
I think that $60 phone that was available on Amazon Prime during Prime Day actually meets the requirements.
Yeah, and the Moto G probably does too, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You need what? The gyroscope. You need a big battery. Don't really need.
I mean,
like,
that's not like an actual requirement. There are like actual requirements where you can't install the app if you don't meet them.
Android 4.0 up, I think.
Yeah, it's probably like, I would say it's probably
4.1.
4. Oh, it's 4.1. Okay. Yeah.
What is that? Kit Kat? That's like Jelly Bean.
Yep, I think it's Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean.
All right. So Throwback Thursday for this week. First, before we get into the topic, correction from last week. I said the Evo was the first phone with the 1 gigahertz processor. A couple of people wrote in that it is actually the Nexus 1 was the first phone with a 1 gigahertz processor. And then the Droid Incredible had it after that. Both were before the Evo. So the more you know. So our Throwback Thursday for this week, staying in the same vein as Pokemon Go, is a popular game back in the day that everyone will remember, Angry Birds.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys remember walking into Walmart and seeing Angry Birds plushes and Angry Birds popsicles, everything?
That
big thing.
It was a really big thing. You know, there's like, I mean, it's kind of funny to talk about it now because just this year there's Angry Birds movie, but yet the game hasn't been that popular in a while.
No. And none of their spin-offs have been that popular either. Like the kart racing game didn't take off.
Yeah, I mean, what Rovio, they like laid off like so many people because they had all these new hires and all this stuff, and they thought that they were gonna just they were gonna be the new Nintendo. So I mean, it just didn't work out that way. All their other games just weren't that popular.
I mean, I think really Zynga thought that too. They could have learned a lesson there.
Exactly. Yes. So it just shows you that, I mean, like, even if you're an app developer and you have some insanely popular game, it doesn't mean the next one you release is gonna, strike gold or whatever. But
so yeah, there was like, how many how many Angry Bird games were there? There was Angry Birds, the original, and then there was like seasons, which would be updated every season with like a different theme, basically.
There was Angry Birds Rio that was a tie-in to that Rio movie that didn't do very well.
Angry Birds Go was the kart racing game, which I actually thought was pretty fun, but not like as addictive as the first Angry Birds game.
Yeah.
Then I think just recently they actually came out with like the actual sequel, Angry Birds.
Yeah, didn't they have one set in space?
Oh yeah, Angry Birds Space. I remember I had one of the set-top boxes I had came like pre-installed with that on it.
The unique thing about that game was Rovio said they worked with NASA on the space physics, and I thought that was interesting, but it never really took off.
So yeah, Angry Birds was quite the craze. It would be interesting, I didn't look it up, but how many daily active users it peaked at compared to...
Yes, I wonder how well it's doing now, because I feel like, I mean, nothing's really changed, and there's always new people getting smartphones. Is that like the game they go to, download right away is like, oh, I should
I
download
remember
Angry
Angry Birds in 2010. I'm going to put it on my 2016
Yeah.
smartphone.
Well, I can
People
tell
still
you,
play
He
that,
used to
right?
tell me about this Angry Birds game.
I can tell you the top 5 most popular games in the U.S. right now. Like I mentioned, Pokemon Go is number 1. Candy Crush Saga is number 2. Draw
Jeez.
Something is number 3.
Still?
Clash Royale. Clash Royale is number 4. And then number 5 is Slither.io.
Slither.io. Oh,
Yep.
man.
So
The snake game with the worst physics you've ever played.
It's a terrible game. The only
I haven't
reason
even
that
played
everyone's-
that one.
The only reason anyone's even playing that game is because Slither.io, the developers, are paying YouTubers. All these like regular YouTubers that don't even stream games or anything, they pay them to just do one episode where they're just playing that stupid game. So like they've like made it into a viral thing now. It's crazy. It's doing well.
Is it? It's like Agario, right?
Yeah.
Yes, except it's snake.
Gotcha.
Our snake version, yeah.
Actually sounds kind of fun. Maybe I'll play it.
The controls are horrible.
Gosh,
You'll
damn
hate it.
I'll play
You
it, but
can't
not
get
because a
the name to
YouTuber told me
turn.
to.
Yeah. Man.
All right, so if you want to send in your Throwback Thursday ideas, you can do that with our email address, podcast@fandroid.com, or hit us up on Twitter @MobileRoarCast. So now we'll move on to our wins and fails of the week. Warning, there is going to be more Pokemon discussion. But my win is not Pokemon related. Well, I guess it kind of could be. There's this thing on Kickstarter. It's a bike mount for your phone, like bicycles, not motorcycles. And it's called Bikeable. And it's kind of interesting because it has a camera and GPS built in. And why you would want that is so if you like are someone who's really into biking and you go on like long bike rides and trails and all that type of stuff, you put your phone into this mount and then there's a camera on it and it records your trip through like looking through the front of your bike, and then it can overlay like so it like tracks where you're going, of course, and then so afterwards you can have this cool overlay effect where it shows like your trip and then like a little dot where you are and then it moves, plus you're seeing like the actual footage from the front of your bike, so you can do kind of cool things with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of neat, and of course if you need a bike mount to play Pokemon Go, probably don't buy it from Kickstarter because by the time you get it, no one will care about Pokemon Go anymore. But
We're doing Throwback Thursdays. You guys remember Pokemon Go?
Hey,
That was
remember
such a
everyone was
popular
going
game.
Crazy for Pokemon Go.
oh, and another thing I should mention is it only works for iPhone. But
Aww.
Womp, womp, womp.
but I think you can get it for $45 right now, which is pretty cheap for a mount with a camera in it.
Yeah, $45. That's crazy.
So I've been using my bike for Pokemon Go pretty much exclusively. And so that's going to transition into my fail, which is Pokemon Go cheaters.
Why are you looking at me? Why are you
wasn't looking at you,
directly
Chris.
into the camera?
Is there anything you
It's
want
like,
to admit?
Chris.
Chris is
Jeez.
feeling pretty.
Chris has got a record player in there. He sets his phone on to hatch his eggs.
Yeah.
There's things in any game you can do to kind of take advantage of what is these exploits. You can exploit anything. I mean,
Exploit, aka cheat. Yep. So yeah, there are people like, okay, first of all, if you live in a rural area where there's not much around, I understand that you have to get in your car and go to places, and that's perfectly fine. If you're not in a rural area, though, and you're driving around at 20 miles an hour to hatch your eggs and things like that.
Below 20.
Below 20 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
it has to be below 20.
You are going against the spirit of the game. That is my opinion, at least. This is this game is made to like walk around and like we were talking, like interact with people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many stories of people just like, yeah, I was sitting in my car in the AC in a parking lot going after this gym. It's like, okay.
taking out this gym.
Is that supposed to be fun? I mean,
this is what happens. Like, we drive around and we're like, oh, let's go get dinner tonight, and we'll go get dinner, and it's like, we can take the streets or we can go drive through the neighborhoods at 15 miles an hour to try to hatch some of these eggs. So that's usually what we do. And if we're on the way, we're driving someplace and we spot a gym, it's like, oh. So we go and we park in the parking lot wherever this gym's at, and we just try to take it over, which I've never really been that successful at. Gyms are really tough around here. It's very competitive. But
Yeah.
What are the? I'm just curious, Chris. You live in the LA area. What is the highest CP Pokemon that you've seen in a gym?
I think it was maybe like 1,400. I want to say there's like an Arcanine or something. But these people, I mean, it's a little discouraging too, because I'm just like, gosh, there's no way I'll ever. Like, these are probably kids. This is like some 11-year-old kid who's out on summer break, no
Catching
job.
Pokemon since they wake up till they go to bed.
I don't know, man. I actually haven't seen very many young kids playing. It's mostly like 20 and 30 something.
That's actually kind of true too. I mean, but like, I walked over to 7-Eleven with my brother the other day to get a free Slurpee, and there were some kids in there, and like, they saw me playing Pokemon, and they're like, oh, these guys were like maybe 5th grade, like, oh, you're playing Pokemon? I was like, yeah. What level are you at? And I'm like, 12, and they're like, oh, I'm at level 18, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are you kidding me? He wasn't even playing it. I still had it out. I have it out 24/7, like, trying to get my steps in and all that stuff, and he wasn't even bothering. He's like, oh yeah, I'm at like 18. Like, jeez, man, freaking kids.
Yeah. So I just, and like you said, you know, a lot of it is really hard to play. Even like, you get to a Pokestop that's in, you know, 1500s. So it just makes me mad when there are people, not singling Chris out by any means, because I've seen plenty and plenty and plenty of people doing it in my area. Like, every time I go to a gym and I see cars parked there, and there are people in the cars, it's like, okay, you guys are playing. Otherwise, you'd be in wherever we're parked here. So,
it's crazy, yeah. It's not
just,
I mean, whatever you gotta do.
There are plenty of other Pokemon games. Play those games. If you're not willing to play the game correctly, don't play it at all. That's my rant. All right, Chris, what do you got?
My fail for the week is going to be guys named Joe. I hate guys named Joe.
My name's Joseph. No, doesn't really matter.
My win for the week is Hangouts. It freaking they added video sending. You can send video messages, and you can record and send video.
Allo could do that. So. And
you can upload. You can upload videos, which is freaking amazing. So, like, what happens with me is I have a chat with my family, and I'm always finding these, like, silly videos online and whatever, dogs doing crazy things and whatever. And
Chris is the guy that makes all those stupid memes.
When you download them from Imgur, you have the option of doing a GIF or a video, and it's like, most of the time, I think in the Imgur app, it's just video or MP4 or whatever they use. So it sucks because it's like there's no way to share directly, but now I can, and it's awesome. I'm sending videos like nobody's business now, and it's so amazing. And the cool part about it is that even though iOS has had this feature for 2 years now, 2 years they've had this feature since 2014, they've only been able to upload at 360p. So no matter what video you're uploading, when you send it to someone, it looks like complete trash. And I thought that's how it was going to be on Android, but no. It uploads it in full 1080p, which is crazy. So you can take a 1080p video, you can send it up to a minute, send it to somebody, and they'll be able to watch it in full 1080p, which is freaking awesome. It's
Chris, were you just complaining about people doing this in Snapchat last week?
No.
Yes, you were. You're complaining about now people are going to use it to upload stupid videos.
Oh, well, but that's a little bit different. Snapchat's an entirely different fish. But this is great. This is fantastic. Right. It's really, really fun.
But you didn't mention that they took away the conversation merging.
Oh shoot, yeah. Well, some people are going to be mad, but apparently, according to Google, nobody was even using it. But they got rid of merged conversations, which is kind of a big deal for some people. So before they were trying to go like the iMessage route of merging someone that you're texting, SMSing, with your instant message people, and it would combine those into a single conversation, and you can switch on the fly. But now they're separating them, and they're just telling people, go download Messenger. We have a text messaging app. Just go use that, you dummies. Which is weird. I don't know why they would even have to do that, but they got rid of it, I guess. So that's my win. My fail for the week is going to be what is my fail? Oh my gosh, that NES console. So Nintendo, I guess they're feeling really good right now, and it's the new Nintendo. You know, they're making mobile games and they're doing all this stuff, and they're finally branching out. But they're finally re-releasing the original NES console. It's smaller. It's got HDMI. You can even get the original NES controller for it that works with the Wii U. They're re-releasing it. It's $60. It comes with 30 original Nintendo games. Only first-party titles, not like Duck Hunt or not Duck Hunt, not like DuckTales or any of those other like Lion King or actually those weren't even on NES, but whatever. You get the point. $60, 30 games. For this little console, you got to plug into your TV, which I don't feel like anyone's really gonna do, and it's overpriced, and I think it's silly. And you could and on your Wii U, you could already download that stuff. I would rather them have re-released all these games for like $3 into the Google Play Store or for iOS or whatever, and just let you download them a la carte and just play whatever the heck you want and just go that route rather than bundling them in this stupid console that you can't upgrade if you're stuck with those 30 games. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So that's one point of view. Ashley, what's your win of the week?
So my win of the week is going to be Nintendo's new NES Classic console. It has 30 games in it, and Nintendo tends to retail their NES games on Wii U for $4.99. So if you were to buy these 30 individual games, it would be $150. Chris says it's overpriced at $60, and I don't feel like that's the case.
$2 a game.
It's way more overpriced on the freaking.
If you guys will remember, Sega went this route a few years back with the Saturn, or was it the Sega Genesis Classic that had like 25 games preloaded, and they sold theirs for $30 to $40 in retail stores. So I'm not really surprised to see Nintendo going this route, and I think it's a good way for them to generate money on the nostalgia that they have, and I don't feel like they're price gouging people with that price either.
I'm on Ashley's side. I think if you break it down to $2 a game, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it would be nicer to have it in the Play Store.
$2 game on the Play Store, yeah.
But you're not going to do that, so.
I just feel like, and it's like we've seen it for years where people, you go to the mall and then everyone has these, like those carts are selling the little NES emulator console things, which have like every Nintendo game. It's illegal, but they're selling like every Nintendo game known to man. So and that's been since I was in high school, and then out of nowhere Nintendo, here we are like 15 years later, just hey, we're going to re-release.
It's not for those people though. I mean, everyone's known for ages that it's super easy to emulate Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people that knows how to do that, you're obviously not going to buy this thing. But other people who don't know how to do that might buy it.
I think $60 puts it in the price range of a novelty gift. So, like, you're looking for a gift for a game, and they like Nintendo games. You're like, oh, I'll get them this. That's a good gift to put somewhere.
That's the price of, like, a full, Xbox or PlayStation game.
And you get it's a little Nintendo console that's smaller than the actual NES, and it looks just like the NES. It's just smaller.
I'm not sold. I might buy it and just use it as like decoration, put it up on the wall or something. But I'm not
sold. I'll buy it, but
I'm not gonna play it.
Chris is the definition of sold.
I'm not gonna.
I'll buy it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Doesn't mean I have to like it, and I'm sure as hell not gonna play it. Okay, Nintendo.
I'm not sold, but they sold me one.
So. I would have loved to have seen some way just to upgrade, maybe some Wi-Fi connectivity, and you can download extra games or something. I don't know.
That would be cool, but not at that. They wouldn't do it at that price point. My fail is.
I will say this. I will buy the Super Nintendo version I know they will.
The Super Nintendo
just get an Android TV, man. I've been emulating Super Nintendo games on Android TV. It's awesome.
It's not for those people, Joe. It's not for
you are one of those people, though.
Not one of those guys.
Yes, you are.
My fail for the week kind of ties back into what Joe was saying about Pokemon Go cheaters. I live in a rural town that only has like 10,000 people in it, and I have like 3 gyms and 4 Pokestops in the whole town. So I have to drive around a lot if I wanted to go to these Pokestops. So
See,
I feel
it's
like they need
justified for Ashley.
Yes, it is. They need to. They recently said that they were going to open submissions for new portal, or excuse me, not portals, new Pokestops and new gyms, but I don't think they've technically done that yet.
Yeah, and if they have, yeah, I don't know.
They are going to get. I mean, they haven't really publicly announced it. So yeah, when they do, they're gonna get hammered so freaking hard by requests. Everyone's gonna be like, "My house would make a perfect Pokestop."
Yes, I have a just make a paper mache sculpture out there, put it out there, and.
But really though, why you would not want your house to be a Pokestop right now?
Yeah.
It would be a nightmare.
It's the story of the guy who's like his house is an old church, so it's a Pokestop, and he's like, all these damn kids are outside my house like 24/7, but.
The Holocaust Museum got pretty upset that people are catching Pokemon there too.
So
they
don't
like
that
they're in the game.
Yeah, we were thinking about that too, because I'm like, I wonder if there's a lot of like ghastly, like the ghost Pokemon in the cemeteries. But I was like, I don't know if I want to. That's kind of messed up. Like someone's like sitting there mourning their dead loved one, and you're.
Now I want to drive to the cemetery in town and see if I can catch ghost Pokemon out there.
I did go into a cemetery and I did not see any Ghastlies.
Maybe an old cemetery. I need to find an old cemetery, one that's just full of like nobody's relatives are still mourning their death.
I've heard. I don't know.
Go to a Civil War cemetery, Chris.
Exactly. Yes, perfect.
I've heard that this is like so morbid, but I've heard that cemeteries and hospitals have a lot of like the Ghastly type Pokemon.
What?
Yeah.
I will say there's a hospital like really close by here, and they have like 3 Pokestops right next to each other, and we just walk over there and just go to town. It's great.
All right. So app picks. There's this app called Pokemon Go. No, I'm just kidding. But mine actually is Pokemon Go related. So one of the things that really sucks about Pokemon Go is that it literally only works if the app is open. Like
especially if you're hatching eggs. Like it only catches, or excuse me, it only counts that when you have the app open.
Right. So if you haven't played, to hatch an egg, you have to walk a certain amount of distance. So 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. But it only tracks it if the app is open and your screen is on. It doesn't just count your daily steps. So that really sucks. So one of the apps that I've downloaded, I just wanted an app that would like keep my screen on, and so I wouldn't have to like every time I play Pokemon just go into the settings and like disable the screen timeout. So I found this app called Wakey for Android, and one of the features it can do if you buy the full version is choose certain apps to always keep the screen on. So whenever you open Pokemon Go, it automatically disables the screen out time, and the screen will never turn off while you're playing Pokemon Go. And then
I'm downloading that immediately.
Yes. It's $1.42, I want to say, or $49.
I have Google Play credit. I'm downloading it.
So yes, I download that app. Every time I open Pokemon Go now, stays on. I go ride around in my bike and counts all my steps, quote unquote. And it's awesome.
Cheater.
Yeah, totally cheating.
Cheating on his bike. That's awesome, because right now, like, I forgot that I had my freaking screen on time or screen timeout to set to 30 minutes. So I was in the bathroom and I was taking a shower and I come out and the screen's still on. I'm like, oh freaking heck! I forgot to turn it back to 2 minutes or whatever. So
it's gonna kill your battery. Everyone should know, but that sort of
Pokemon Go does that anyway.
Yeah, that sort of goes with the game. I mean, I literally like sit down and charge my phone with a turbocharger, like gearing up to go play. It's like, all right, let's get some charge.
So my app pick is going to be one that Nick actually shared on Fandroid the other day. It's called Stitch and Share, and it big screenshot. So as the name kind of suggests, it's like a way to stitch screenshots together so that you can share them as one big thing, which is kind of awesome. So like Nick showed off an example of like a Twitter conversation or something, and normally you'd have to take multiple screenshots and then send them to somebody or back them up individually, whatever. This will allow you to stitch them together, so it's just one giant screenshot, and it's kind of awesome because, I mean, there was somebody fighting on Twitter the other day, some big YouTuber, and I guess she broke up with her boyfriend, and I was trying to screenshot all the whole conversation like before it got deleted, and then it got deleted, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, I have it, but now I have all these like screenshots, like 3 or 4 screenshots. I wish I could just stitch them together.
Why do you want
I don't.
A
It's
proof
just a
of
thing.
some random people you don't know breaking up on
I
Twitter?
share it to my friends, and
Okay.
Chris is like, look at this internet drama. It's funny.
Exactly. That's my favorite stuff. I love the drama, man, and
I do too, but I don't need historical proof of it.
some of my biggest Reddit posts, I will say, have been from just these like internet drama things.
So you're that guy.
Yeah. So I'm that. I'm
You're
like
the reason why every time I log on to Facebook, it's some kind of weird trending story about
I'm the
someone.
TMZ, the TMZ of the internet. So yeah, it's called Stitch and Share. It's on the Google Play Store, and it's free to download.
Nice. Ashley?
My app pick for the week is another wallpaper app. I'm a sucker for good wallpaper apps. This one is called Wally.
Wow.
And what sets it apart from other apps is it has like legit art from real artists.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
real
it's
artists.
not just
What does that mean? What a snob.
it's not just minimal wallpapers that people have thrown together like, oh, look at these lines arranged in this strange way. No, they're actually pictures that people have drawn and spent some time on. So
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I should mention that it's not spelled like the terrible
no,
Wally
it's
impression me and Chris just did.
W-A-L-L-I. Wally.
Terrible. The best.
All right, so we got an email this week from Daquan Johnson. He says, if Samsung makes another curved Note, will it be Note Edge 2 or just the Note 7? And do you think it's weird having a curved Note and the S7 Edge in the same year since they are both curved phablets? I do not. It will not be called the Note Edge 2. I don't think so. That would be way too confusing, and by changing it from 6 to 7, they're trying to make it less confusing. So I don't think they would do that. But I don't know. Do you guys think it's weird that they have two curved phablets in the same year?
Kinda, yeah. I always thought the Note phone was unnecessary anyway, but I know I'll get a lot of hate for that.
Yeah, I mean, people love the little pen, and it's something that kind of like differentiates it from like all these other phones out there. So I think Samsung really enjoys that. But I mean, having the curved display, I always felt like that was going to be the direction that Samsung goes eventually. Once they can actually start manufacturing enough curved displays, and they can just be, they can keep up with the demand of all the smartphones they're selling. Every phone that they can make will have this curved display. Well, all their Galaxy S's or whatever, their flagships. And the only reason they just started out with the flat one and the curved one was because, at the time it was like, well, we only have so many curved displays that we can make. Can't really chug them out fast enough. So, yeah, I think eventually that's kind of what they're going with it. I think the Note 7 is a perfect example of that because there is no flat version. It's just going to be the curved version.
And if it is toned down like the images look like, that won't be too bad. I mean, we'll have to see.
You can hold it.
Because it does look, I will admit, the curved phones, like when you see one just sitting on a table and like the screen's on and it's curved around,
nice.
it looks very cool.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
It's a head turner.
It's when you pick it up that the illusion fades away.
And then you drop it on the ground and then everyone's laughing at you. Yeah, yeah.
All right, that is going to wrap things up for this week. If you would like to email us questions or comments, podcast@fandroid.com is our email address. And then, like I said, we're also on Twitter @MobileRoarcast, all one word. You can subscribe to the podcast on Google Play, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, whatever favorite podcast app you have. And we are at Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore, Ashley is at Overlord Roar, and I'm at Tall Schmo. And we will see you guys next week. Catch 'em all.
Later.